Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Mental Dojo with yours truly, Dennis Procopio. I'm the owner of Man Up Life Coaching, and in this 30-minute segment, we are going to roll our sleeves up, put on our thinking caps, and grind our way through another uncomfortable male topic. So come on inside, I'll see you in there. All right, man, here we are in the Mental Dojo. Look at who got a camera and lighting upgrade. Yours truly in high definition. Hope you like what you see. Speaking of liking what you see, you like when you see when you Google naughty things? I bet you do. Today we're going to be talking about pornography. So, the title, Guy Talk, to Pron or not to Pron, right? Okay, so what is pornography? Well, I think famously it has been defined as, I don't know how to define pornography, but I know it when I see it, all right? Basically, we have these bodies, right? And these bodies are designed to reproduce and make more bodies, right? And if human reproduction were a job, some sort of lottery system, like jury duty. I gotta go make some more humans with my penis. Boo. Right. So they had to, find a way to make it interesting for you. So they said, oh, nature. Let's make it really interesting. Interesting how? Nature finds a way, doesn't it? Consider the Venus Flytrap. I mean, really, consider the Venus Flytrap. Look at this wonderful fly comes over and says, oh, wow, that looks great. Just, look at that. It says, yeah, here, come here. Let me just rule. The fly's going, what's happening here? What's happening here is you had an opportunity back there and you missed it. You had a chance to say, I'm not going anywhere near that thing. Sinatra called it the tender trap. And we got a lot of guys in life coaching who get caught in the tender trap. Holy cow. I'm so close. You can't just go telling all your people's business on the internet like this. But I got this one guy, man. Oh my God. He is just like Tiger Woods addicted to, like, it's just, he can't, I call it the big titty in the sky. He just, mommy. He's just constant, like a fucking pinata. He's just at it, the big titty in the sky. I need it. He's got money, so women that know how to manipulate guys that are looking for the big titty in the sky and are doing well for themselves, and maybe you're a little emotionally dysfunctional like they are, and maybe there's a father story in common somewhere in there. And I'm not just telling this guy's story, I'm telling everybody's story, man. This is such a common theme, it's freaking boring. Just got to do with porn. Everything. You're looking for the big titty in the sky. Mommy. Big, hairy fucking man ape. Fucking silverback. Titty. Titty slap, booty, titty. Fucking nipples like fingers. I'm not gay. Sex, man. Sex is a trap. It's a trap. They threw some I need that drugs in there for you to crack out on and have a little le petit mort, as they say in France. Right? The little death. Right? Like you have a transcendent experience because you're, chemicals. Why? So your dumb ass will keep doing it. All right. And what's she designed to do? That. Venus Flytrap. That's it. That's it. That's her job. You're expected to be the pursuant. Dare I say the aggressor. And as a male, we all know where that can lead us. Right? Because different women have had different experiences, and as a result of having different experiences, have different ideas about sexuality. Where to draw the line? What's vanilla? What isn't? What's kink? What's fetish? Right? I've got religious guys. What's appropriate? What isn't? God let your wife give you a blowjob in your religion. Maybe not. Right. So, people go on the internet, don't they? They go down the dirty little rabbit hole of their stinky fingered curiosity with human sexuality. Because it's a part of them, isn't it? There's this thing that's larger than you. Pay attention when it's springtime. Maybe you'll notice it's not just you. Have you seen Bambi? Everybody gets Twitter pated. Twitter pated because it is the season for mating. I have a guy, he's a freaking hunter up in British Columbia, a hunting outfitter. He hunts moose, bear, just fucking big, scary shit. Cougars, wolves. That's respectable. It's respectable that he hunts things that can actually kill him back. Right? It's not like he's out there hunting cows. I gotcha. What are you going to do now? He's a real, little manly dude with the guns and the pioneer lifestyle up in British Columbia, doing the hunter thing. Beard up to his freaking eyes. He shaves it off. It's growing back while he's shaving it, Good dude. Good dude. Canada, eh? And so when this dude's calling a rutting bull out of the bush and into the open so they can get a shot, he says, oh yeah, I go to talking to it, and if he talks back, then I gotta talk back to him, and I'll just talk him out there, and one of my guys will get the shot. He's matter of fact about it. The way I'm matter of fact about it. Yeah, I just turn on the light, and then I adjust the camera, and then I, like this internet bullshit. That's him out there talking moose out of the bush. So the comedy for me is that when he's calling moose, he's not calling him like, hey, bro, hey, bro, you want to hang out? I'm a moose. You're a moose. You want to hang out and do bro stuff? No, he's basically seducing this freaking big, enormous, gigantic freaking rutting monster. I remember when I lived in Vermont and New Hampshire, I used to run a rural paper route. I used to deliver the Valley News before the freaking plows would get out, like between 1 and 5 a.m. And you see all kinds of wildlife out there, especially at that time. And I remember there's this one story in the paper that I was delivering. I'm having my coffee, actually, just looking at the headline. And it was that a rutting moose had destroyed this woman's Porsche, totaled her car, chased her into the house, and done just thousands of dollars worth of damage. He basically humped her Honda Civic into a state of disrepair, destroyed the whole front of the freaking house. He just horny, angry bastard, man, and then chased her around the house into I don't know. Just rutting bulls are a funny phenomenon. And it's funny because it's true. So here's this dude going, hey, this is basically equivalent of what he's doing. This fucking big manly guy going, hey, I'm feeling it if you're feeling it, big fella. That's what he's doing. Right? He's man enough to do that. I got to respect him for it. Like Bugs Bunny and Drag, hey, Elmer, right? What's happening? Blowing him kisses or whatever. So yeah, that's what he does. That's how you hunt moose. Turns out pretty manly. I'm like, you got an outfit you got to wear for that? Anyway, why does it work? It works because that dumb, horny motherfucker is, not being especially particular. And when you come to the internet looking for porn, you're not being especially particular. Although internet has gotten, porn, I'm 50 years old, man. In 1970, 1980, the porn, and in early 90s, the internet finally came along in the 90s, but in the 70s and 80s, porn could have been a picture of a chick in a bra. You'd have a folded up freaking Victoria's Secret ad or something in your wallet, it's just, I remember being kids, especially when I was in Vegas. My story, you're going to hear I hopped around a lot as a kid. But I remember being in Vegas and somebody'd get a copy. In the desert, you're going to find we'd ride our bikes around, and at some point in the desert, you're going to find a copy of something. And here we are as kids going it's hard to open the pages. They're kind of stuck, it's a desert. It didn't rain. I don't get it. Ugh. And I remember being out there with my buddy, and he's like, I found a copy of Owie. Because he doesn't know it's French, and then it's we, O-U-I, right? Oh, yeah, this one's always got really hot babes, Owie. And you knew that Playboy was the softcore one, and then Hustler and Penthouse were a little bit better, and then sometimes you'd get your hands on something that was you didn't know where they got it from, but it was definitely, going toward the dark side. It had little ads for young girls, filleting older guys or whatever. fetish stuff. That when it starts getting into that incest stuff, and it starts getting like, okay, now could I get in trouble for looking at this? You know. And I remember in the 90s, like, you know, it was really popular. You know, like, I don't know why this was, but everybody was Googling like girls blowing horses. That was just it. I think just the idea that you could actually see that on the internet was really interesting for a bunch of people for a time. That was a thing. But yeah, we'd be running around the desert, you know, looking for a single freaking copy of a, you know, dirty magazine or something. Dirty, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden porn comes along. It's like there's a Family Guy episode where, you know, the giggity guy, you know, Quagmire, discovers the internet. They're like, oh yeah, Quagmire, there's porn all over the internet. And he's like, wait, what? You know? Like, yeah, there's porn all over the internet. You know? And then the next thing you know, he's home for like the next 2 weeks, just gassed out, just looks like, you know. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of get into is I have a lot of guys who they have access to all this porn because of the internet. And they have a habit, man. And that habit is like they're going to the well several times a day. And it's not just, hey, I got to rub one out so my blue balls don't explode or whatever. It's something else. It's they're going a little hard in the paint. Something's happening there psychologically. And my message here is you are not a body. You are an intelligence. Control the mind, control the body. And even the term control the mind is technically, if I were to go all the way down the rabbit hole, is technically imprecise because it's not so much as controlling the mind. Because the meta that we always come back to in Man Up Life Coaching is that the mind with a capital M is the thing. And everything else is one of the moving parts. But again, the mind is the meta. And so when you understand that, you understand that the term your mind is a rationalization of the idea that you exist autonomously, separate from all of life. And that idea is problematic. That idea makes us feel disconnected. A toddler, when he experiences terrible twos, no, I don't wanna, I do not wanna. Toddler, right? The reason he's doing all of that is because up until this transition, he has thought of himself as a part of his mother. He was in his mother, dude. His father's seed was incubated in his mother's body. I'm a dad, so I've been through this process, you know. It's like you learn that your dick is for more than the dumb things you think your dick is for as a guy. It's a vehicle for making more humans, like I said in the beginning. Yeah. So it's your seed, your sperm, your actual life that wiggles and goes and finds a place to hang out for 9 months. That place to hang out happens to be a person, and she's the opposite sex, and you are designed to want to go hump that. We've had this interesting push and pull over the years, us and them. And we're at this interesting state of the game wherein the very basic physical truth is sort of the elephant in the room. And the very basic physical truth is, if we're going to keep being physical creatures and reproducing in the old way, rather than some, futurized sort of, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World sort of, social factories with test tubes and, social planning, where the idea of having sex to reproduce is considered savage. If we're going to continue doing it this way, then yeah, the state of things right now, societally, globally, you understand why religions have these codes, man. You really do. These moral and ethical codes to try to control it. Because you're this little sperm that ends up in the incubation, area that is inside of your mother, and you incubate, and you're you're there, like that when you look through your fingers at a really bright light, that red sort of blood color, that's what's happening in there for you. I think that's my dad talking. I think that's definitely my dad. That's what's happening for you in there. And then boom, and you come out and you latch onto the big titty in the sky. It is immediately what you do. There's the light. Here's this virtual reality that you've been born into out of your mother's freaking vagina. And then now you're going to climb up her stomach. The tit looks like a big bullseye. You're going to latch on and you're going to get nourishment from your mother's body. And she's going to invalidate you and who's my little baby? And that is the most blissful, comfortable feeling that you will feel. Until you have sex. Yeah. So. The whole life cycle, the whole idea of it. That's the story we're in right now. Nature, and this is how it works. Does it have to be this way? Nah, it just happens to be this way. So we're not putting that much on the science and the biology business. We're just saying we obviously live in a world that has rules. We're paying attention to what those rules are. At a biological level, we recognize that we have these chemicals. They make us hump. We reproduce. At a higher level, we're this evolved species that, is managing incredible numbers across the planet, doing the best it can. And then we have religions which attempt to offer us spiritual direction. And then we have savants who really are the true leaders, aren't they? But unfortunately, we also have fakers. And how do you discern? Well, Sometimes it's hard to discern. But one thing's for sure, you can trust your body. That sex thing sure does feel good. Ooh, dopamine hit, just like sucking on my mommy's big titty in the sky. You grow up, you're a 5-year-old, or even before 5-year-old. By the time you get to, being 2 years old, the terrible twos, your little tantrum age, you've thought of yourself as a part of your mother. Now, all of a sudden, it's time for you to become this autonomous little agent at 2 years old. It's time for you to sever that umbilical cord, because really your formative years are just about over at this point. The person that you're going to be for the rest of your life has pretty much been decided. That's true. And you'll make changes. Obviously, that's what we do here at Man Up Life Coaching. But your formative years, it's pretty young. So you start making different decisions than she makes. She says yes, you say no. She says up, you say down. She says black, you say white. You become this asshole little contrarian. And you're super emo about it all. You don't get your way, you have way, like a little baby way. And it's a power struggle. You're using everything you've got. That's all you've got. You can't drive a car. You can't walk up to her and say, And so it's just big old full body temper tantrum. And good parents know that one of the best ways to shut down a temper tantrum is not to go full metal Walmart parent on them, but rather, fight back and scream, why are you just like your father or whatever, you know what I mean? But, to see, do it again and I'll, or whatever they do, or you're making a scene, whatever, however many different versions of dysfunction you want to imagine. Really, the right thing to do when a child is having a temper tantrum is to recognize that they're terrified. They're terrified precisely because of the idea that they're capable of making a choice that is contrary to the mothership over there. That's scary. Am I going to lose her love? Because I'm not moving in synchronization with her anymore? Can we be asynchronous and still in love when my idea and definition of love up until this moment has been that blissful harmony where I don't know if I'm you or you're me or we're us? Okay. And when you have really good sex, you're going right back to the womb, aren't you? You literally are, man. So just look at it, right? And the really good sex, like the one where it actually is like emotional or whatever the shit, like you can hump anything. You know what I'm saying? You can hump anything. But when you have that good connection, where you don't know, and that's shit guys never talk about. That's like romance movie talk, chick flick talk. But each dude is walking around knowing exactly what I'm saying, right? Like when you are having sex with a girl and it's like you're both looking at each other like, whoa. Yeah, it can be pretty intense, yeah. And it can transcend just the physical. It can be a moment of something that feels like you're back in the womb. And so the type of guys that end up looking for that feeling over and over are often big fucking babies. Not all of them. Not all of them. Not all of them. I mean, this is an epidemic that goes all across the male spectrum. But it's funny to me, because I'm a Jewish Italian from the Northeast, it's funny to me to think about the super macho guys that are big, like, I need mommy's titty. Meh, 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 meh. They're big babies. But they're big, hairy, muscular, scary babies. So you don't want to, it's not like you're going to tell them, you know. I think you might have an edible complex there, Vinny. You know? What are you talking about? Madonna. Yeah, literally Madonna. But so, as far as the porn thing goes, do you do it or do you not do it? What's the man up life coaching stance on this? Man, look, I mean, I have a healthy relationship with masturbation personally. I think that, you know, if you're backed up, handle your business. What are you gonna use for, you know, inspiration? Well, you're not a chick, so you don't need a whole fucking romance novel. You just need an image. You know, they're easy to find. What are you gonna find? Whatever you're looking for. What are you looking for? Whatever the fuck you're into. So if you're not sure what you're into, just check out your Googling habits when you're looking for masturbatory material. That's what you're into. Is it chicks with dicks? Well, then maybe it's time for you to have a conversation with yourself, you know, about, you know, what's going on in there. But the reality is, one way or another, that human sexuality can be a complicated conversation. Personally, I mean, there are people who explore fetish. There are people who explore kink. I've had clients who do. There are people who have open relationships. I don't judge, different strokes for different folks. But myself, having gone out there and played as a younger person and, you know, got a pretty broad, you know, set of experiences to draw from. I think at the end of the day, just practice being a good person, practice self-discipline, practice self-love, practice forgiveness, practice the things we practice here at Man Up Life Coaching. Work on spiritual identification, but not denial of your physicality. Because denial of your physicality in a ignorance, to say I'm so spiritual that I don't identify with my body or whatever, is where you're gonna get in trouble with that one. Because when the Empire strikes back and you just need to fuck something, then you're gonna ruin your whole little story there. So just be honest with yourself. I'm capable of having a spiritual identification. I'm capable of having a physical identification. It doesn't have to be complicated. I'll just put my spiritual identification before my physical identification. And when the body acts up, you got a squeaky wheel, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? As far as pornography itself, some would argue that it's unholy, that it is an industry that blah, 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 blah. You know all the things you can say about porn. So if you practice a religion that says porn is not okay, well, there's your out. Don't do it. And if you need accountability, hit me up. If, on the other hand, you do not practice a religion that has any strict guidelines and you're discovering that you're going to the hole too many times. It's too much of a good thing. You're feeling down. You're feeling drained. Well, there are these communities, these, no fap. Fapping is like an internet term for jacking off, masturbation, whatever. And there are these Nofap communities, and these guys have all these wonderful things that they say about, ever since I stopped jerking off, I've got all this. I'm being funny, obviously, but yeah, they say ever since I stopped masturbating, there are all these health benefits. It's really interesting about your energy and having how you lose your chi or whatever. You're on the internet, presumably right now watching this. So if it's interesting to you, Google Nofap. There's a world there. Problem with Nofap community for me is it's just like Alcoholics Anonymous or any other community. I just don't want to be a part of a group of people who identify with themselves as primarily broken in some way. So if I'm jacking off too much, just dial it back. If I'm Googling things that I maybe suggest that my fetishes are getting a little weird, then maybe I should consider that I might be dealing with something and, work on self-betterment rather than going to the hole. So as comical as it is to joke about porn and all that, masturbation or whatever, the truth of the matter is there really are guys who are suffering, man. They're having it bad. And the reason that they're suffering is because they feel disconnected. And somewhere along the way, they were looking for acceptance and validation that they didn't get. And their habit has a lot to do with trying to have an artificial sort of replacement for that feeling. And it becomes an addiction. And like any other addiction, it becomes draining and it becomes problematic. So if you think you have a porn addiction, take a break. I did. Because I mean, guilty as charged, man. I was like, whoa, boom, 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 boom. But at a certain point I realized, all right, I gotta redirect my brain. And so I know it's all there. I also noticed as an artist, I'm somebody who, my experiences with naked people, naked women in particular, was drawing women as objects of beauty first, and then porn after that. So I can say that when I started looking at a lot of porn, it really changed the way I looked at women's bodies. It made me sexually objectify women a lot more. So if we're being honest, and to drop the macho shtick for just 2 seconds, the reality is, to sum up, we have sex because we are currently spiritual energy in a physical manifestation. And the rules that we live by say that when the bodies do this, it makes more bodies. Yay, multiplication. And we put a little yum, 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 yum on there so that they would do the thing. And look, all the little people, right? And there are some people who guilt trip other people for their, sexual appetite or sexual preferences or whatever. And there are some people who just straight up have some, unhealthy sexual expressions, or they express their relationship to sex is a little messed up. And there can be reasons for that, man. And we don't have to explore that here, but there can be reasons. So if you're a guy, and like I said, just to sum it all up, if you're a guy and you feel like, hey, man, I feel really guilty when I look at porn, and even though like maybe you care about the girls in the video, maybe you don't give a shit because it's like, like some amateurs just decided, like some young couple just decided, hey, let's film ourselves. That'll be fun. So it's not like everybody in porn is like a victim of the industry. But one way or another. So if you're looking at this stuff and you're thinking, okay, on one hand, it's like, but then on the other hand, afterward, you're like, I feel bad. I feel guilty. I feel drained. Basically you have a habit. You have a habit like a drug habit. What's the best thing to do? The best thing to do is stop. Don't just get away from porn for a while. What should you do instead? Whatever the frick you want. What do you replace it with? I don't know. Find a hobby. Start playing chess. And in reality, if you're one of my guys, because this is eventually going to be, internet fodder. But if you are one of my guys, because every once in a while, a dude will just tell me, hey, I've never really told you this, but I've kind of got like a porn problem. I mean, I'll work with a guy for like a year, 2 years, and then he'll tell me this. So if you're one of my guys and you maybe want to come clean about, a porn habit or a weird relationship to porn or sex, holler at me, man. Let me know. If you're a guy who's just watching this, I'd just like to remind you, man, if I'm older than you and you're looking at me and thinking I'm pretty cool and looking for like advice or what does Dennis say about this or what does his community say, the majority of my guys, I do have some religious guys, but the majority and the religious guys, they set their rules a little harder. So, but for just the average guy that's not following a religious script, not preoccupied with religious dogma, the general rule is, man, porn is there. We know it's there. If you're if you're going and looking at stuff that's absolutely positively like morally or ethically inappropriate, then you might want to talk to somebody about that, right? But if you're in a range of it's okay and you're finding yourself doing that every once in a while and it's recreational, as you might say, or you found even a healthy way to work it into your sex life with your partner, I'm not mad at you. Good for you. Man Up Life Coaching stance on pornography is, I mean, love it or hate it, it's there. Should you abstain? Probably. Will you? Probably not. Do I want to judge the hell out of you if you go down the rabbit hole? No. Should you probably just leave it alone? Yeah, you probably should. But until you make that decision for yourself, as long as you're not, jacking off to dead babies or whatever, and you're not going at it so hard that you're feeling depleted and depressed and saddened and you think it's negatively affecting the way you look at women, then, do you, man. No shame in my game. I'll tell you how it is. So I feel like this is one of those topics, man. I feel like I could just go on forever and ever and ever. It's really a big one. But I'm at the end of my time. I hope this was fun and interesting for you. And see you on bangbrothers.com. And no, I won't. No, I won't. No, I won't. All right, later. All right, well, you stuck it out to the bitter end, didn't you? That makes you a trooper, and I think you should probably hit subscribe because, let's face it, if you stuck around, you must like this content. It's for you, isn't it? Also, I like compliments, so if you're enjoying what I'm putting down, like a video. I like likes, All right, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.